Hey guys, it's me, Made Up Jen, and welcome back to my channel, and welcome back to a hair dye talk. So if you guys have been following up, you guys know that I was going to give you another story time of my worst boyfriend ever. So today's story is going to be a very juicy one. So in case you guys don't know, I'm always using the same thing. Everything I use will be linked down below. I know people are having a really hard time finding this in store, but Amazon does have it. The only difference between Amazon and Target is the bottle. So let's go ahead and get started. How do I start this? So I'm miserable in my last relationship. We break up, we get back together, we break up, we get back together, we break up, we get back together. And se me ocurrió, I had the bright idea to move in with him. I don't know why. Don't ask me. I don't know why. So I decided to move in with him because he did live alone. He had his own apartment, and I decided to finally leave my house and go live with him. And I really thought that was the best idea. I was sleeping at his house all the time anyway, so it just made sense for me to move with him. But we got in this big fight, and I was like, I'm done. Like, I don't want to be here anymore. I'm moving back home. And I grabbed all my stuff, and I have like I have a coupe, a Honda Civic that's a two-door, and it's very small. It doesn't have a lot of space. The trunk doesn't have a lot of space in it either. And I was just like, I'm done, I'm leaving. And I started like grabbing all my stuff, and I started like packing it into my car, and he was like stopping me. He was like, no, you're not leaving, you can't leave, like, I love you. And I was just like, I'm done, like, I can't keep dealing with this, you know. That was my thought. And I was like, I can't keep dealing with this. It was just so much drama for me. Like, I couldn't handle it, and I shouldn't have to have handled it, right? And in a foot of rage, he grabs my sweaters and he throws them in the tub. And my mom had given me a recipiente, like she gave me Tupperware of what you might call it, of arroz con leche, so rice and milk. Arroz con leche. Anyone who doesn't know it, ahí te va, arroz con leche. And he grabbed the recipiente and he threw the arroz con leche on top of my sweaters. And the worst part is that arroz con leche ya estaba echado a perder. It already had gone bad. Imagine spoiled milk. And he threw it all over my sweaters, and then he threw water, and then he was like apologizing for it. And I was just like, what are you doing? You know, like, I was just so upset. I was like crying. I just wanted to get the out of there. And next thing you know, like, I packed all my stuff, and I'm in the car. I'm like pulling out of the parking, and he stops right in front of my car. So there's this meme of a girl like in front of the car, and she's like, you're not leaving. And like, he starts driving off, and then she gets like onto the hood. Well, that's what happened. My car's stuffed with a bunch of crap in it. He goes ahead and like pulls on the passenger side of my car, and he like hangs on to my car. And I'm like, get off, I'm leaving, like, I can't deal with this anymore. Like, I'm done. Like, I don't want to deal with you anymore. Like, I was just done. Like, I felt so done. And I don't know what it was about me and him that I still kept coming back. But he's like in the hood of my car at this point, and I'm like, move out the way, like, I'm gonna run you over. And he's like, no, I don't care, you can run me over, like, you know, you're not leaving, I love you, like, blah blah blah. And at some point he finally like let me leave, and I went home, and I'm just like crying. I'm in the couch. I'm just like, I can't believe, like, I'm going through this. Like, this is year 2 going to 3, by the way. This relationship was on and off for about 4 years, almost 4 years. It lasted like maybe 3.5. So this was like 2011. 2 years in. Oh my god, you guys saw that? It's pretty good. So I go ahead and I leave. I get home, I'm crying. Tell me why this mother, you know, he is blowing up my phone. He's blowing up my phone. He's texting me, he's calling me, and I'm just like ignoring it. I turn off my phone. I'm just like, I don't want to deal with it anymore. Like, I'm so tired, you know. It's the same shit, just a different day. I don't want to keep dealing with this shit. And next thing you know, he calls my mom's house, because this is where I'm at. I'm in my mom's house. I'm in her couch sleeping with all my clothes in my car, because obviously I was gonna get it out the next day. And he's like, he starts blowing up my mom's house phone, and I'm just like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Like, he's outside of my house, guys. He's literally outside of my house, and he's blowing up my house phone, and I'm just like, oh my god, like, I can't believe this shit is happening to me, right? And at some point I almost thought about like unplugging the house phone, because I didn't want my mom to like bitch at me about it. But next thing you know, my sister picks up the phone and she's like, hello, and then she's like, she went off on him. She's like, you know, this is my dad's house. It's really disrespectful for you to be calling like this. Like, I don't appreciate it, and blah blah blah. And then she hands me the phone, and I'm like, I don't want to talk to him. And then she's like, well, you need to do something, because I can't have him calling like it's 2 in the morning, blah blah blah. And he's outside of my house, and he's like, I'm gonna sleep here until you come outside. Bro, I look outside the main door of my mom's house. He's laying on the concrete floor in front of my house, laying there, saying he's gonna sleep there until I get out. When I tell you guys that this is some toxic shit, and like, these are signs where it's like the biggest red flag of life, and you just need to leave. Like, that's exactly what I'm talking about. You need to leave. You need to leave, girl. You need to leave. Or boy, if you have a girl doing the same situation, or a girl, you know, girl, whatever your situation is, and they're doing this, you need to bounce. You need to bounce, because it's not healthy for you. It's not healthy for your mental state, and it's stuff that you should never have to deal with. Like, why do you have to deal with this shit? So my mom lets him in, and then she's like, pobrecito, déjalo, nomás deja que se cueste, like, just let him stay here, and then, you know, he could leave in the morning. And I'm just like, bro, like, I don't want him to stay here, because once you get him to stay here once, like, he's gonna cling back on, and it's over for me. I'm gonna go back, because that's the type of mental space and how stupid I was at this point in time. And I honestly thought that I couldn't do better than him, so I think that's also why I kept going back. If we're being serious, when I tell you guys that my mental state, my emotional state, everything about me was not in the right state of mind, that had a lot to do with it, with me going back over and over with him, and when I shouldn't have, you know. I moved back home, we stayed together. I moved back home, and yeah, this is where it's gonna get a little crazy. So I went to go pick him, his brother, and one of their friends at a bowling alley, because they went bowling, and I went to go do something, I don't remember what, and then I went to go pick him up, and my ex-boyfriend was shit-faced, like drunk. We had to carry him in my car, and I had his shoes, and his phone was in the shoes. And while I was waiting for his brother and everybody to get him in the car, I started going through his phone, and I see him telling this girl, like, you know, what's up, when are we gonna hang out? And then she told him, like, don't you have a girlfriend? But he was like, no, we're done. Like, he lied to her. He told her, there's no more me and her, like, we're done, so when are we gonna hang out? So I was even more heated, and I'm over here giving this asshole a car ride home with his brother and his friend, and this asshole's over here cheating on me, and I find out he's talking to other bitches, and because I went through all these messages, and then at that point it got so crazy where, like, on Facebook, like, if a girl liked them, I would go through her profile and I would see if he was flirting with her. Like, they were the problem. Bitch, you stupid, it was him. You know, like, these are the things that, like, you look back to and you're just like, how stupid was I? Anywho, I still stay with him, even though I knew he was talking to all these girls, and it just started feeling like my life like was revolved around him. Like everything I did was revolved around him. Everything I did was with him in mind every time. So I didn't know what it was to be alone anymore. I didn't know I was like dependent of him. That's crazy. So he meets this girl, and I don't know that he meets this girl. La tiene bien escondida. He has her very, very, very well hidden. I'm so embarrassed to like talk about this story, but I feel like I have to talk about it because it just helps me, like, it reminds me of how much I've grown as a person. So I'm at home and we break up, and like I'm trying to get a hold of him, and he does not text me all day. He doesn't answer my calls all day, and I'm like, what the hell is happening? Like, what is this going on or whatever? So at that point, I already had like a Christmas present for him. I bought him some mugs, some Star Wars mugs, because he was a Star Wars fan. So I bought him like this collectible thing, and I had all these pictures in my car, and I was like, screw it, I'm gonna go to his house and I'm just gonna give him everything back. Like, I'm done. Like, this is it. We're really broken up. It is what it is. So I go to his apartment. I knock on the door. And he's like, what do you want? And I'm like, can you just let me in? Like, I need to talk. And he's like, no, we have nothing to talk about. And then I'm like, can you please just open the door? And he opens the door. And tell me why he opens the door with a girl. Some girl, didn't even know who she was, didn't even know she existed. I still remember everything. Let me tell you guys what I was wearing. I was wearing a tank top, sweats, and flip-flops, chanclas. And my hair up like in a funky bun. Like, I was dressed like a bum. I was home all day. I wasn't working. I wasn't doing anything. I was just like desperately wondering what the hell happened to this guy. And because I'm thinking the worst happened to him, because he would always tell me he would kill himself if I ever left him, kind of deal. So he opens the door. This girl's in a long sleeve, nice laced shirt with some black pants, skinny jeans, and she's wearing like some black wedges, open toe wedges, and she has her hair down. I look at her and I'm just like, what the hell? Like, who is this bitch? Like, in my head, you know? And he opens the door and he's wearing like a shirt that I bought him, asshole, some pants, and he's like, what do you want? And she like looks at me, and they're both literally standing right there in the entrance of the door, and I'm just like, I was like, I need to talk to you. Like, I look right at him. I'm like, can we talk? And he's like, no, we have nothing to talk about, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, please, like, I just want to talk to you. And I swear this is it. I'm never going to bother you again. I just really want to talk to you. This girl, like I said, never met her in my life. Don't even know who the hell she is. Opens up her mouth and tells me he doesn't want to talk to you. And I like directly look at her, and I was already enraged at this point in time, because he opened the door with a girl who I didn't even know, and he opened the door with a girl, you know, que huevos. And I look at her and I'm like, I'm not talking to you, I'm talking to him. And she's like, she starts like laughing and giggling and stuff, and then she's like, you're so pathetic. And then I'm like, what? Like, who does this girl think she's talking to, right? So at that point, I look at him and I tell him, you need to shut her up before I shut her up. And then she starts laughing, and then she starts throwing stuff at me that she knows about me. Like, so he already had met her back in June, around my birthday. And he already had talked to her about all the stuff that he had gone through with me, what I was, that I was Salvadorian, that I was older than him, like that that I'm the one who was clinging on to him, that I didn't want to let him go. So, oh my god, I'm so mad just talking about it. I get upset, but I'm okay with it. So then she starts saying, you're so pathetic, like, do you not get it? He doesn't want you. he wants me, and I'm just like I literally turned to look at her and I told her, look, I don't know you. I straight up turned to her and I told her, I don't know you, but you need to shut the up before I shut you up. And then I'm like, can we talk? Please, can we just talk? I'm like literally telling him, like, can we just talk? Can we just talk? Because at this point, I was ready to this bitch up because she was just talking. She literally was like, you're so pathetic, you're Salvadorian. And then she started saying, you couldn't find someone your own age, you're so pathetic. Like, you know, you can't find someone your age, you have to go with someone younger. Like, what, did you want to make yourself feel younger? And I'm just like, you know, I'm literally just trying to hold back. I have not gotten in a fight since like 8th grade at this point, guys. I'm being 100% honest with you guys. And this girl right here testing my patience, because I'm telling you guys, I have not gotten in a fight since 8th grade at this point, and that was my first fight ever. And I literally, I was like, you don't know what you're talking about, you really need to shut the f up. And he's just like, go home, like, leave, I don't want to talk to you. And then she starts laughing, and then she's like, you're so pathetic, like, just let it go, he doesn't want you. And I'm just like, you don't know me, I don't know you, why are you even talking? Then he like throws up because they're drunk. I didn't know this, they were drinking. And then she starts laughing at him, and I'm just like, why are you making fun of him? Like, he's sick. I don't know if she thought I wasn't going to do anything because she thought that I was like pathetic, or I just wasn't that girl. So she says, you're nothing but a slut. As soon as the word slut comes out of her mouth, I reach for her hair, I pull her down, and my arm just starts going bah, bah, bah. I'm like punching the shit out of her face. And then my ex over here, because he's super drunk, they're drunk. Again, I don't remember that they were, I didn't know this. He's like, stop, stop. And this little puny little motherfucker over here can't do nothing. He can't separate us at this point. I'm just going like crazy, and she's like just going like this. And she has acrylics, by the way. I have no acrylics at this point in time. I didn't even think about acrylics. And we're like, I'm just like going at it, and the adrenaline is rushing. I don't even feel her hitting me, and I'm just going like this, and her arms are just going like this. She managed to like scratch me a little bit here. I do have a scratch mark right here that is still on me to this day. It's the reminder of how much of an idiot I was at this point in time. But he's like trying to separate us, and we're like moving, right? And he threw up. I don't know if you guys remember me saying that he threw up. So when he threw up, she had those wedges on. So she took a step, she was trying to pull back, because I was holding onto her hair pretty tight, and I don't know if I broke her nose, but she took a step, and he's like split between us, and like he's in the middle of us trying to split us apart. And at this point, she grabs onto my shirt, she takes a step, she falls to the side, and she's holding onto my shirt like this, right? I have a tank top, again, I have a tank top, and we fall down. We all fall to the floor, and my rage was like at 1,000% at this point in time. And yeah, I got up to my knees, and I started just punching her even more again. And then I got up, and with my chanclas, no shoes, guys, I'm literally barefoot at this point, I just start kicking her in the ribs. I'm like so upset at this point in time. Like, it was one of those moments where I'm like, who the f do you think you are talking to me like that? Like, I'm gonna show you who the f you're messing with. Like, that's literally what was going through my mind at that point in time. And I'm just like kicking her, and I'm kicking her, and then my ex finally manages to get up, and he's like, stop, like, stop, stop, right? And then he gets in front of me, and she rolls behind him. And at that point in time, I was just like, okay, you just chose her over me, cool, I don't even care, like, it is what it is. And I'm like really mad. So at this point, I was like, F you, like, we're done, blah blah blah, all this dramatic shit, right? I leave. I call my best friend. I call my guy best friend. He doesn't pick up. I call my other best friend. She doesn't pick up. And then I remember that in my trunk I had all our pictures, all our relationship pictures that I had up until that point, whatever we had, from all the trips he had gone to, all the selfies, whatever, and I had those mugs in my trunk as well. So at that point, this is where I get super crazy, guys, and I'm really embarrassed to even say this, but it happened, and I'm gonna tell you guys because you guys, if this ever happens to you, you need to go, you need to bounce. So I go back to his house. I go back to his house like an idiot. I go back. I take the pictures, I take the mugs that I was gonna give him for Christmas, and then I start knocking and banging on his door, and he's not picking up. He's like, go away, go away. I start going with my shoulder, and then I start kicking. I break down his door, guys. The adrenaline, the madness, I don't know what it was. It brought me to a different place that I just never want to go to ever again. So I break down the door, I open up the door, obviously it swings open, I turn to my right, this mother is on top of her already, like after this whole fight, they're about to have sex or something, I don't know what at this point, right? So I see that and I'm even more upset because I saw that. So I grabbed like the mugs and I slammed them down the floor, and then I threw all the pictures and I'm like, fuck you, you fucking piece of shit. And then I look at her and I'm like, you know, this is not true, but I just said this because I was so mad. I look at him and I'm like, he has herpes. Like, I was so mad, guys. I was so crazy. Like, it's crazy how one person can turn you into this whole other person you didn't even know existed. And she shuts the door. She stays in the room, and he's like, you need to go. And I'm like, you don't even need to ask me. F you, we're done. Like, I was so heated, and then I bounced. I left. I left, and then I went with my best friend. He gave me a pack of ice. I told him everything that happened, and then I went with my other best friend. We went to some frat party at USC, and she's like telling everybody that I got in a fight and that I f***ed up this girl, and I had like the scratch right here, blood. I had a little bit of scratches here, and right after this fight, he got in a car accident, guys. And he slashed his forehead a block away from my house. He was driving to my house. So he got in the accident. Mom called me. Guess who went back for another year? This babosa right here. After all of that happened, he got stitches. I took care of him the whole week. Like, he made me feel guilty that he got in the accident. So that also didn't help me. And it made me feel bad, and it made me go back to him, and then I felt like I had to take care of him because it was my fault. And when I would leave to go to work, he would go see the girl. Like, you guys don't understand how much of an idiot I was at this point in time, how stupid I was. Like, you guys don't understand how much, like, how painful it is to me, like, to think back of what I have become, who I have become, and what one person pushed me to be, someone who I completely was not. And that's why, like, I felt like I had to share this story because, guys, I got in a fight. I got in a fight with a girl, and everyone always tells me, oh, haha, you got in a fight for a guy. I did not get in a fight for a guy. Let's clarify that. I did not get in a fight for a guy. It was because this girl thought, you know, she was deceived. And I do say this because she was deceived into thinking that I was just the worst person in the world because this guy told her that. There's always one story, another story, and the truth, right? And months later, near the end of me and him, actually, to be honest with you guys, it was almost the end of us. This was already going towards year 4. She messaged me on Facebook, and she gave me her number. And I called her, and we had a chat on the phone, and she told me when they met. She told me everything he told her about me, that we were done, that I was the stalker crazy bitch who just couldn't let him go. And I'm not gonna lie, there was a point in time where I can imagine that he saw me as a very crazy person, this crazy bitch, because he made me that way, right? the fighting, the arguments, the going back and forth, him trying to kill himself, him cheating on me talking to another guy because I was miserable in my life, I was miserable in my relationship, and thinking that I didn't deserve anything better, and I kept staying, you know. And you know, I gained a lot of respect for her at that sense, and I apologized to her for the fight, to be honest, and she also apologized to me. She said that, you know, she didn't know what the she was thinking when she was talking to me like that, that, you know, she didn't know me, she didn't know the situation, and that she should have known better than to, like, you know, try to be that person that she wasn't. So, you know, she bounced from him. I stayed with him an extra year and a half, and yeah, that was a big mistake in my part, but I'm just thankful. I'm thankful that now I'm in a better headspace. I am much happier in my life than I could ever imagine, because I ended up with the love of my life. I could not be happier that I was able to let go of that relationship for good, because I'm the one who ended that relationship, guys. He kept trying to stay with me, and there was a moment in time where I just woke up one day and I just didn't love him anymore. Like, I had love for him, but I didn't love him. I wasn't in love with him, and I didn't want to continue being with someone who would make me a whole different person, who make me so, like, be in a toxic environment. And it just wasn't what I wanted. So, like, you know, one day I just woke up and I just knew I didn't want to be with him anymore. And I would see him at school because we had a class together, and at some point, like, I would tell him, you know, we can still be friends, you know, and he'd be like, no, like, I want to be with you, I'm in love with you. And I would be like, well, I can't, like, I just can't be with you, like, I just want to be alone. We can always be friends, we can hang out whenever you want to, you know, whenever I have the time. I don't see us anymore. Like, and I told him, I'm not in love with you. Like, I'm not in love with you anymore. Like, I'm just over it. I'm super done with it. And, you know, as time kept passing by, he just stopped trying, and I didn't give him the time of day anymore as well. And we just drifted apart, and we never spoke, and we haven't spoken since that day, that last day where he just gave me my stuff and I gave him his stuff. We ended it, and I honestly feel like it was the best decision, and I'm so glad that it happened the way it happened, like the way we ended, not the extension of the relationship. I honestly feel like we should have ended it as soon as that fight happened. But I'm gonna go ahead and leave this on for 20 minutes, and then I'll be right back. Well, as of now, it's like about 10 minutes, and then I'll be right back with the finished results. And this is the finished look. I hope you guys enjoyed this hair dye talk. It was a struggle for this one. Sorry if this one was a little bit long, but I just felt like this story had to be told. I hope you guys like this series, and if you guys want to see any more of these, I will more than gladly sit on down, dye my hair, well, stand on the dye my hair and tell you guys all about it. Please let me know down below what you guys want to see next. I am probably thinking maybe How I Met My Husband. If you guys are interested, let me know down below. If you guys like this video, please make sure to like it, and if you haven't already, please make sure to subscribe. I will see you guys in my next video. Peace.